It's our time, and I'm Carolina Coral. Welcome to all our Freedom viewers. Let's get straight to the top stories. Overnight on March 30th, Russia attacked Ukraine with an Iskander M ballistic missile and launched over 160 drones of various types from 7 directions. About 90 of those were Shaheds. According to the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, preliminary data shows that 150 Russian drones were shot down or jammed by electronic warfare. In the Sumy region, 3 people were wounded as a result of Russian shelling. 25 settlements across the region came under fire. A drone strike wounded 2 men and a woman. Residential buildings, a gas station, outbuildings, a garage, and a car were damaged. Law enforcement is documenting the aftermath of the Russian attacks. The Russian army attacked the Dnipropetrovsk region more than 10 times in 24 hours. 3 districts were targeted. The invaders used drones and artillery. In the Petropavlivka community, a fire broke out in an apartment building, and a garage and a car also caught fire. Infrastructure was damaged in Kryvyi Rih. Information about casualties is currently being clarified. A 16-year-old girl was injured following a Russian strike on the Chernihiv region. This happened in the city of Novgorod-Seversky, according to local authorities. The enemy attacked the region with drones. Residential buildings, a kindergarten, and a woodworking enterprise were also damaged. A drone strike was recorded in the town of Semenovka. The local history museum building was damaged there. Police have opened a criminal investigation. The case is being investigated under the article on war crimes. Following the Russian attacks tonight, power supply issues have been reported in several regions. Consumers in 7 regions remain without electricity, specifically in the Odessa, Zaporizhia, Kharkiv, and Chernihiv regions. Energy workers are repairing the damage. Work is being carried out wherever the security situation allows. In March, the number of combat missions by Ukrainian interceptor drones and the number of targets destroyed rose by nearly 55% compared to February. Since the start of spring, Ukrainian UAVs have already destroyed over 2,300 enemy aerial targets. This was stated by the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Alexander Syrsky. According to him, the Ukrainian military is developing new, effective ways to counter the Russian invaders' strike UAVs. And furthermore, they are analyzing the latest drone strikes on Ukraine, as Russia is not stopping its attacks, but rather increasing production and modernizing its drones.
To strengthen the protection of Ukrainian cities, towns, and critical infrastructure, we are implementing organizational changes. Ukrainian-made drones are demonstrating high efficiency. We are ready to share this experience with our international partners. Since the beginning of March, our helicopters have destroyed 379 enemy strike drones. Anti-aircraft missile troops, mobile fire groups, and separate anti-aircraft machine gun battalions are also working effectively against targets. In addition, we are focusing on implementing artificial intelligence and increasing the level of automation in the use of air defense systems, both for interceptor drones and for aviation and ground-based fire assets. New complex challenges lie ahead. We are protecting what is most precious, Ukraine's independence and the lives of our citizens. Alexander Syrsky, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, on Facebook.
"147 combat engagements were recorded on the front lines in the last day. The General Staff reports fighting continues in several directions at once. In the Pokrovsk sector, Russian forces attacked 31 times. On the Kostantinivka section of the front, the Russian army conducted 26 assaults. In the Hlyapol and Oleksandrivka sectors, there were 10 attacks each. In the Kupiansk direction, Ukraine's defenders successfully repelled 12 assaults by the aggressor country's army. 870 Russian military personnel were eliminated by the Ukrainian Defense Forces over the past day. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The enemy's total losses since the start of the full-scale war already exceed 1,296,000 soldiers. Yesterday, which is also within a 24-hour period, the Defense Forces destroyed 4 more Russian tanks, 4 armored vehicles, 48 artillery systems, and 1 multiple-launch rocket system. They burned 183 units of Russian motor vehicles and fuel tankers. Units of the Ukrainian Defense Forces also continue to strike critically important enemy targets. Thus, according to the General Staff, the Alchevsk metallurgical plant was hit in the temporarily occupied territory of the Luhansk region. It is involved in the production of large-caliber ammunition. A massive fire broke out. Successful strikes by Ukrainian forces on a Russian military train were recorded. Additionally, near Hrvati's Crimea, the destruction of an expensive Russian S-400 Triumph SAM system launcher was confirmed. The presidents of Ukraine and Finland held a telephone conversation. Volodymyr Zelenskyy informed Alexander Stubb about his negotiations in the Middle East and the Gulf region, which took place over the weekend. The leaders also discussed the drone incident that recently occurred on Finnish territory.
It is important that we all in Europe coordinate in a substantive way. That is exactly what Alex and I are doing. Strategic agreements are already in place, and our contribution to security and stabilization can be significant. Alex spoke about his initiatives. Security comes first, and now when the world is so destabilized, we cannot afford to lose a single day. Joint actions and collective results are needed. We are preparing communication formats with other European leaders. We are also constantly focusing on our work in the American direction. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, Telegram.
Bulgaria's acting prime minister, Andrei Gurov, has arrived in Kyiv. He's accompanied by key ministers. At the station, the Bulgarian delegation was met by Ukraine's deputy foreign minister, Mariana Betsa. Gurov met with President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko, and Parliament Speaker Ruslan Stefanchuk. The talks will focus on bilateral cooperation between Ukraine and Bulgaria. Latvia is providing Ukraine with a €6,800,000 aid package. This was announced by the country's foreign minister, Baiba Brazis. The funds will go toward strengthening Ukraine's power grid, building shelters, developing infrastructure, and enhancing Ukraine's drone capabilities. Ukraine's foreign minister, Andriy Sybiha, expressed gratitude to Latvia for the support.
We are grateful to Latvia for this timely and significant support. Your new aid package strengthens Ukraine's resilience in the most critical areas: energy, infrastructure, and our ability to protect our people. We deeply value Latvia's unwavering leadership and solidarity. Together, we will win. Andriy Sybiha, Ukraine's foreign minister, on the social network X.
Iran has agreed to most points of the plan to end the war. This was stated by U.S. President Donald Trump. This refers to 15 demands that the U.S. conveyed through Pakistan. And according to Trump, contacts are happening both directly and through intermediaries. Furthermore, the American leader emphasized that Iran is showing serious intent, and the U.S. expects further progress in the talks.
We've had very successful negotiations with Iran, and we've gotten a lot of what they should have given us a long time ago. We'll see how it works out, but they're behaving very well. Things are going very well. They've taken out a lot of additional targets. The Navy's gone, the Air Force is gone, we know that. But today, we've taken out many targets. It was an important day, and we're negotiating with them both directly and indirectly. But with Iran, you never know, because we negotiate with them, and then we always have to blow them up.
Also, U.S. President Donald Trump stated that if Tehran doesn't agree to the deal, American forces will blow up and completely destroy all Iranian power plants, oil wells, and Karg Island, and possibly even all the desalination plants. The White House chief noted that this would be retribution for the fallen American soldiers. For more details on the situation in the RETEM, watch our next report.
Washington is preparing for a possible ground operation in Iran. According to sources from the Washington Post, it could last anywhere from a few weeks to a couple of months. The main objective is raids by special forces and infantry on Iran's coastal territory and key islands in the Strait of Hormuz. There's no official decision on ground operations yet, but Washington Post sources emphasize this isn't about a full-scale invasion, but rather limited objectives.
According to officials, the possibility of seizing Karg Island, a key hub for Iranian oil exports, has been discussed over the past month. In the Persian Gulf, as well as raids on other coastal areas near the Strait of Hormuz to find and destroy weapons capable of hitting commercial and military ships. One source stated that the tasks being considered would likely take several weeks rather than months. Another estimated the potential time frame at a couple of months. From the Washington Post report,
Earlier, reputable Western media reported that the United States is considering sending up to 10,000 additional troops to the Middle East. Now, U.S. Central Command has stated that several thousand American Marines aboard the amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli have reached the Middle East.
This isn't about a large-scale operation. 1,000, 3,000, 10,000 Marines, that is simply not sufficient enough to, for example, successfully seize and maintain control over the entire Iranian coastline of the Strait of Hormuz. It's unrealistic. It's possible for a highly specific and targeted military operation, which is why virtually all political observers are saying the White House is actively aiming to establish full control over Karg Island, which is basically a manageable task with such forces.
The possibility of a ground operation is being taken seriously in Iran. For instance, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has already begun recruiting children to guard checkpoints and perform other duties in the capital. As Al Arabiya reports, an Iranian military official openly stated this on state television. According to him, the minimum age for recruits has been lowered to 12. Their tasks include gathering security data and conducting operational patrols.
As we've seen over the past month, the new leadership of the Islamic Republic is likely even less willing to compromise than the previous one. And to any increased pressure, they quickly and decisively react by significantly increasing mistakes.
As a result of the U.S.-Israeli operation against Iran, Iranian missile stockpiles have dropped from about 5,000 units to just over 1,000, Bloomberg reports. And the U.S. and its allies in the Middle East are now launching 1 or 2 Patriot missiles for every aerial threat from Tehran, instead of the numerous volleys seen before. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has already stated that Washington plans to continue the operation. However, the American side aims to neutralize Tehran's military capabilities for years to come.
the president said, look, we've accomplished the vast majority of our military objectives. I think you can make all sorts of arguments that we've accomplished all of our military objectives. The president is going to keep this up for a while longer to ensure that after our strike, we won't have to do it again for a very, very long time. That was the president's main goal. Look, this country is threatening us in all these ways. They're still trying to build a nuclear weapon. We need to neutralize them for a very, very long time, and that is the goal.
And yet, in parallel with a possible ground operation, the U.S. is also working on a diplomatic track to end the hostilities in the Middle East. Nikita Skoblikov for Freedom TV.
And right now, I'm ready to offer you a topic for a more detailed discussion. Ukraine is ready for an Easter ceasefire, both an energy-related one and a full one. This was stated by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy while speaking with journalists. Also, according to him, Kiev agrees to continue the negotiation process anywhere except Russia and Belarus. The head of state noted that the escalation in the Middle East has slowed diplomatic efforts to end Russia's war against Ukraine, but the negotiations themselves haven't reached a dead end.
I don't think we've reached a dead end, after which what would be left for us all? To surrender or to relax? Let Russia surrender, but not us. We must organize a trilateral meeting and must continue along the diplomatic path. A trilateral meeting must take place. It is being delayed, certainly, because the attention of the United States of America today is focused on Iran. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, president of Ukraine, while speaking with journalists.